What's going on, everyone? This is Kevin here, coming at you with my Samsung Galaxy A21s review. So let's get started. So this is my review of the Samsung Galaxy A21s. Now, to see the most up-to-date pricing for this phone, take a look at the link in the video description, as I'm sure the price will go down as time goes on. Now, the Samsung Galaxy A21s was launched in June of 2020, and it does share a lot of similarities to the A21, and I have already done a comparison between those two phones here on the channel. So definitely take a look at that video if you want to see how the A21s is different from the regular A21, but essentially the A21s, in my opinion, is the better phone of the two. Now with this device, we're getting a very large 6.5-inch display. The display itself is PLS TFT, which is similar to LCD. It comes in at 720p with a PPI of 270. We're getting a 20:9 aspect ratio, so a narrow but tall form factor with this display, which I personally prefer as it makes it easier to consume content, whether it's going on social media or browsing the web, since you are able to fit more of your feed into one frame. And then finally, we're getting an 82.8% screen to body ratio, so pretty small bezels, but you can see at the bottom here, the bezel is a little bit thicker. But in general, I think the display on this phone does look really nice. Now, would it have been nice if it was 1080p? Yes, of course. And if it was AMOLED, that would have been better as well. But given how things are here with the phone, I feel like the display is completely adequate, and it is going to satisfy the majority of people that use the device. Now up top here, you can see on the upper left corner, we do have a hole punch for the front-facing camera, and the camera itself is 13 megapixels. Now stay tuned to later on in the video as I'll show you a variety of different photo and video samples from the phone. Now with the Galaxy A21s, we're getting 64 gigabytes of internal storage, and we're getting microSD card expansion. Now 64 gigs is pretty good, especially for a budget device, so I'm glad we have that instead of 32. Now there's no wireless charging with the Galaxy A21s, but we do get a fingerprint sensor on the rear. So we'll give that a try right now. So very fast, responsive fingerprint sensor with the phone, and we also get face unlock as well, which is very awesome. Now on the back side of the device, we do have a quad camera setup with a 48 megapixel main camera, an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle camera, a 2 megapixel depth sensing camera, and a 2 megapixel macro camera for close-up photos. Here's how things look through the front-facing camera. Then from here, I can switch over to a more wider view, or if I want to, I can switch over to live focus portrait mode as well. So this will blur out the background, and it will apply a portrait mode effect, very similar to what we've seen with many other smartphones out there. Then flipping around to the rear camera, we get live focus portrait mode as well. We can go to the standard photo mode, and we get the regular camera, and then the ultra wide. And you can see with the ultra wide angle camera, we can fit a lot more content into the frame here, which is very awesome. And then we can go over to the More tab and access that macro camera. And then with the macro camera, you can get very close up for nice, clear photos. Now internally, with the Galaxy A21s, we're getting 4 gigabytes of RAM and the Samsung Exynos 850 processor. Now I did run a benchmark test here with the device, and I'll show you the results from that test right now. Now I did run a benchmark test with the phone, and these are the results that I got. So I got a single core score of 183 and a multi-core score of 1092. So what I recommend doing is that if you want to install this benchmark app on your current Android device, and then compare the results to these results, then you'll have a good idea of whether or not this phone will be a performance upgrade. Now the device certainly is not the fastest out there, nor is it supposed to be, but for what it is, I'm definitely satisfied. I especially like that we're getting 4 gigabytes of RAM here with the phone, as that does make a difference. Now video recording with the Galaxy A21s maxes out at 1080p, so unfortunately, no 4K video recording here with the phone. Now other competitors like the Moto G Power and Moto G Fast, which are in the same exact price range, do offer 4K video recording. So it's a bit unfortunate that we don't get that here with this phone. Now with the Galaxy A21s, we're getting a very large 5000 milliamp hour internal battery. So that battery is actually the same exact size as the Moto G Power. So you're gonna get very good battery life here with the phone, and it's gonna last for a very long time. So it's definitely very nice to see that Samsung did give this device a very large battery. Now the phone is compatible with 15-watt fast charging, by the way, so you are going to be able to recharge the battery pretty quickly. Now there's no NFC with this device, unfortunately, so keep that in mind. And the software on here is Android 10 with Samsung's One UI 2.0. So if you've used any other Samsung devices anytime recently, then the software experience here with the A21s will definitely be very familiar. But now that we've gone over the major specifications of the phone, let's take a closer look at the hardware. So again, like I mentioned earlier, we're getting a pretty bezel-free design here with the device. I mean, the bezel on the bottom is a little bit on the thicker side, but still, I feel like it's a good-looking phone in general. Now, the phone is completely constructed out of plastic, minus the front panel. So we're getting a plastic band around the side and plastic on the back as well. Now, on the left side of the device, we do get the slot for the microSD card and SIM card. Then on the right of the phone, we have the power button and volume button. Then up top, we have the noise-canceling microphone. And then on the bottom, we have the 3.5mm headphone jack, USB-C port for charging and data transfer, microphone, and the speaker. And then on the back, we have the rectangular camera module, so very similar to many other Samsung devices that have launched this year. We have the fingerprint sensor, and that's pretty much it. Now the material on the back of the phone does pick up quite a few fingerprints, so keep that in mind. But the phone does feel very solid, it is well constructed, and does not feel cheap. If you're looking for a decent phone to use for social media, then I certainly would consider the A21s, especially due to its very large display. You can easily scroll through your feed, you can go up to your stories and view those as well. Everything does perform nice and smooth. And then when you want to, you can record your own content as well, and things work out really well for that as well. So I'm recording a story right now with the A21s. And things work out really well for that as well. So the phone also has a very good microphone, which is nice. Browsing the web with this phone also works out very well too. And you can see, again, even though this device does feature a 720p display, the actual content does look nice and crisp and clear. So I really don't feel like this phone even needs a 1080p display, since everything does look nice and sharp. A Super AMOLED display, and with the A71 5G, we're getting a Super AMOLED Plus display. So a little bit more of a premium AMOLED display technology, but in my opinion, looking at the displays of both of these phones, So one of the limitations that you do get with the 720p display on the phone is that you are limited at watching video at 720p, at least on YouTube. Now that totally makes sense. I mean, there's really no point in watching 1080p on a 720p display, but I just wanted to point that out there. But video does still look good on here. I'm pretty happy with the speakers. We do only get audio out of the speaker on the bottom though, nothing out of the earpiece. So that could have been an improvement to give us a more immersive audio listening experience, but again, everything's totally fine with it, and this phone is definitely adequate if you just want to sit back, relax, and watch video content. Now here's the box that you do get with the A21s. We'll open this up and see what all is inside, but we get this little sleeve here, and in here, we get some literature. So the typical literature you would get with an unlocked A-series phone. We also have the adaptive fast charger, which is good to have as well. That will give you 15-watt fast charging. We have a SIM card removal tool. We have a USB-C cable for charging and data transfer. And we have 3.5mm headphones as well. So we do get everything included here in the box that we would need to get started. Let's now take a look at the photo and video quality from the Galaxy A21s. Now, one of my favorite things about this phone is how good of photos and videos it can take. Now, of course, compared to the Pixel 4a or any of the various flagships, this is going to be a downgrade. But that being said, for a phone in this price range, I feel like it has some of the best photo and video quality out there. I would say the majority of people would be completely satisfied with the quality from the cameras on this device. And I also like that we do get that ultra-wide camera. It does give you another way to take photos and videos that allow you to fit more content into the frame. So in general, I would say that if you are concerned or curious about the cameras with the Galaxy A21s, then you definitely should be very confident about them, as the results really are good. But let's now take a look at some video samples. What's going on, everyone? This is Kevin here, coming at you with a test video with the Samsung Galaxy A21s with the main camera on the rear. It is pretty much during the middle of the day right now, so things are going to be very bright. Very quick autofocus in video mode as well, which is great. And here's a test video using the ultra wide angle camera with the Galaxy A21s. You lose out on some quality, but at the same time you are able to fit a lot more content into the frame. Again, it's a very bright day out today, so you can see there's quite a bit of contrast between the shade and the unshaded areas. And here's a front-facing test video with the Samsung Galaxy A21s. Let me know what you think of the quality with the front-facing camera here on the phone. Also, let me know what you think about the microphone quality as well. So in conclusion, is the Samsung Galaxy A21s a good choice? Is it worth buying? I definitely think it is. In fact, this phone is one of my favorite devices in this kind of $200 price range. This phone, the Moto G Fast, and the Moto G Power are really the three that I feel like are the best values. Now, you might also want to take a look at the Galaxy A31, as that phone might be a bit more expensive, but you never know. So take a look at that as well. I have plenty of videos about it on the channel too. But the A21s and A31 are two great budget choices from Samsung. Now, as far as comparing the A21s to the regular A21, I've already talked about this in other videos, so I'm not going to get too far into it, but without a doubt, the A21s is the way to go out of those two phones. I like that we're getting 64 gigs of internal storage with this device. I also really like that we're getting a very large 5,000 milliamp hour internal battery. 4 gigs of RAM is also very well appreciated. And the Exynos 850 does a good job too. So in general, I think that Samsung did an awesome job with the A21s, and I can't think of too many reasons not to go for it unless you somehow can find something else at a similar price that happens to be better. But this is my review of the Samsung Galaxy A21s. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about the phone, but my name is Kevin, and I'll see you in the next video.